Dear Colin, what do you make of Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher exchanging barbs on recruiting and the name, image, likeness situation? You know, they say this about Hollywood. There are certain positions in Hollywood where you need to get along with people, like actors and actresses. If you have a long career, you'll be on lots of projects, working with lots of people. You're already viewed as important, highly compensated, and often a star. It's really important to get along with people. But when it comes to directors, you're dealing with the studio, budgets, and bottom lines. Sometimes you need 20-25% a-hole, like Quentin Tarantino or James Cameron. Different sensibilities for people on the same movie set. That's the way I look at college football coaches. In the NFL, you're not recruiting players. In college, you are. You've got to be a salesman and get along with dad and mom and the son. You've got to deal with boosters and administrators. I've said this before. Every great college football coach in my life has like 20-25% a-hole. It doesn't mean they're corrupted people or horrible people, but Saban and Jimbo Fisher have really healthy egos. Got into a war of words publicly because that's what guys with egos do. They're both really exceptional, Saban the best ever. But college football coaches are very, very rare. In the NBA, it's a players' league. In the NFL, it's a quarterback league. College football is a coach's sport, and it's the only sport that often makes money on an entire campus. You're the state's highest paid employer. Being a little authoritative, bulldozing certain administrators, donors, it's almost a commodity. When Jim Irsay says, hey, we made a mistake, I'm like, ow, that's kind of like that hurts a little, right?
I mean, it is what it is. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I thought last year was a really fun year. I thought we did some incredible things, came up short at the end. Obviously, I struggled down the stretch there, and timing was poor. But yeah, that I didn't expect that. I didn't expect things to unfold the way they did. And, I thought things were in a pretty good place there. Had awesome relationships with every single person in that building. Can't say enough good things about the people over there. And kind of came out of left field. He's entitled to his own opinion, and, he's entitled to do what he wants with his football team.
The NFL's tough. As you know, you played for a dominant college program. And in college, you line up a lot of times if you're at a top program, and on Saturday, like you'd have to really screw up. In the NFL, the Jets beat the Colts. The Jets beat the Titans, who are the number one seed in the AFC. Like, people don't want to talk about that, but they want to talk about the Jags beating the Colts. But the Jets, and if you watch that game, you're like, what is going on here? So did you think at one point, by the way, the Colts have struggled with the Jags in Jacksonville for the last half decade. When people freaked out, Carson, was there part of you thinking, hey, time out, you can Google how we've done down here. Like, I'm not the only guy that's struggling, right?
Yeah, honestly, it was just a real tough ending, honestly. And then once rumors and reports are going around, I'm like, talking to my agent, are these things real? What's going on? Like, honestly, it was kind of came out of left field. And you kind of just try not to think too much of it. Rumors and reports are a big part of this business we're in, so you never know what's true and what's not. So try to not stress about it too much. But yeah, it was a very unfortunate ending to the season. Not a good time to play poorly the way I did, and as a team we struggled. But that's what's crazy about the league is, as you just said, anybody can beat anybody anytime you step on that field. And we had our work cut out for us the first time we played the Jags at home. We squeaked it out in the end, and it's always a good team. That was a good defense last year, and they made our lives tough, and they got us on that day.
Carson, I've said this before about your style, that you remind me of a more talented Sam Darnold in that you're a physical player. And you're a risk taker. And I like my quarterbacks to take risks. And I've said you can coach players in and out of a lot. But if a guy is a risk taker, and it's sometimes, risk taking, reckless are really close. They say love and hate are in the same envelope, right? I don't know like I look at you and I think, this is who he is. So if you're not comfortable with his risks, then don't acquire him. Like when you're making plays, do you have a off switch? Like, okay, turn the governor down here. This isn't going to work. Or you just in the moment, you're going to do what you're going to do, and that's your style.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line. And, it's one I've wrestled with since the moment I walked into that door in Philly. Shoot, that's how I played in college. It's I try not to get in my head or overthink things. So I just, with what I see, whatever's there, I let it rip. I pull the trigger. There's plenty of times I come in and watch film either that night or Monday morning. I'm like, shoot, that was dumb. And you get away with it. You get away with it plenty, and you try and just, let the positives outweigh the negatives. And hopefully you look up at the end of the day and say, there's some big plays to be made here. So you never want to miss those. You never want to miss the ability to extend a play and find a guy open downfield or really change the momentum of a game. But at the same time, you got to be smart. You got to be smart and try and limit those mistakes. And I think, I've gone up and down in my 6-year career on that front, and I got to continue to learn, okay, when to say die, when to eat it, and when those plays are there to be made to be aggressive.
Well, it's funny because when Jim Irsay freaked out, and that engineered all of it. Listen, everybody else in this league flips burgers, as a GM once told me. The owners make all the decisions, right? You had 27 TDs, 7 picks, threw for over 3,500 yards, and had a 95 quarterback rating. That is a borderline Pro Bowl season. So then, the fit hits the shan in Indianapolis, and everybody's going crazy. So we had said, on my show, I said, I think he fits here, I think he fits there, I think he fits here. I believe you're the most talented quarterback now in the NFC East. How do you just Philly's done, Indy's done. How do you just lock in and not let that stuff, all that shrapnel, how do you just not let it affect you, Carson, at all?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I got my faith. I got my faith, and that keeps me rooted and grounded every day. I got my family that keeps supporting me and is with me. Whether I throw 5 picks or 5 touchdowns, they don't care. My little girls love me. My wife loves me. They support me, and I just try to do the best I can, really, for them. And I don't let what the outside noise says, good or bad, kind of shape my outlook. I just try to make the most of the opportunity, build positive relationships with guys. Probably the most enjoyable part of this game is building those relationships and finding new friendships everywhere you go, and building that chemistry on a team. And so it's going to be weird. It was weird the second I walked into the Commanders locker room. I was like, shoot, I didn't think I'd be here this quickly. Just a couple of years ago, I would have said you're crazy for the way things unfolded. But it is what it is. It's a crazy business. You learn it real quick, and you try and make the most of it while you got it.
Philadelphia is a great sports town. They're a little surly. Have you kind of thought to yourself, it's going to be crazy going to that place? Because, by the way, you did a lot of good things there. You were on the way to an MVP season. You got them home field advantage. So it's not one of these, we don't like Carson Wentz. You're going to have some people that support you. But, Philly's Philly. And by the way, you go from North Dakota State to the most outspoken sports city in America. When you were in Philly, did you ever, turn on the radio and just listen for 10 minutes to sports talk radio in Philly?
I did early in my career. And it always gave me a good laugh. There was always something going on. And it didn't matter the time of the day. It didn't matter what season it was. They're always talking about something, and stirring the pot a little bit. And that's just what they do. That's what they do. And, my time there was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and as passionate as fans as you can imagine. So I look forward to experiencing that passion on the other end when I'm up there this what is it, Monday Night Football, sometime in the middle of the season. That'll be an adventure. I know that one. I know a lot of people have that one circled on their calendar. I'll be ready for it. It'll be fun.
Is it an advantage at all, Carson, that you've been in the division, the stadiums, some of the personnel? It feels like, to me, it's kind of a perfect place to go back to. You've played against a lot of this division.
For sure. Yeah. I think knowledge is an understanding of teams and, everything is definitely something you can use to your advantage in this league. Obviously there's coaching changes, there's scheme changes, there's player turnover always. So things are going to look a little bit different, but at the same time, there's a lot of familiarity, and I look forward to kind of using that to my advantage, and continuing to just hone, everything I've learned from my 5 years in Philly to last year in Indy, and the good and the bad, and how to kind of just stay focused and stay, getting better myself and making the guys around me better. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
I'll give you a coach and you just tell me a sentence, what you glean from that coach. If I say to you, Bill O'Brien, you were under. Bill O'Brien, what did you take from him?
Authenticity. I remember him saying the beauty of coaching is believe in something, have a philosophy, get the players to believe in it. And there's going to be a million different ways, but you have to believe in it and you have to do it your way.
Urban Meyer.
Teaching. Urban was mandatory that you be a great teacher with these college players, and also the connection. I realized in college the connection that you have to have between a player. You get there and they're 17, 18 years old, and they're spending a lot of time with you, and you're a father figure for most of those guys.
Belichick.
Being prepared for different situations. Also being flexible and understanding that things are going to change. Things are going to constantly come up, and you have to be willing to change and adapt.
See, now that surprises me. I look at Belichick and I think he's so prepared. He wouldn't have that dexterity or that ability to pivot in games. Go back to your playing career with Bill. I mean, were there times, Mike, that you'd come to the sideline and Bill would say, screw it. We're just going to, things have changed.
I think that this has probably been out and probably been said, but, people would say, hey, we're going to make some halftime adjustments. And Bill would say, well, if we're waiting until halftime, it's probably going to be too late. Like, we better be making adjustments by the second or third series. Like, the game plan has already shown its hand. It's what they've practiced all week. Pretty much that's what it's going to be the rest of the game.
When did you gain his trust? When did Bill let you call things?
I went in there, and again, this is such a unique situation. I didn't start a game for 4 years. Had a conversation with him in free agency, and he had referenced plays that I had made in a preseason game. He's like, you remember that preseason game against Miami? He's like, that's what we're looking for. That's what we expect. And I went up there with just, a desire to try to be right and be perfect, which you can't be. You can't try to play like that. And I think it was just something where, as things started to go on the first or second year, playing different positions, I think he realized that. I think he valued that, the versatility, the willingness to play special teams and really do whatever. Once you show him that, once you show any coach that, whether it's Bill Belichick or anybody, once you show them their willingness to do whatever you can to help the team win, that's how you earn trust.
There's housing bubbles, there's tech bubbles, there's stock market bubbles. And during the last 6 months, I've been joking on the air, like we're in a wide receiver bubble. Tyreek Hill goes for 5 picks. I remember when I was on the air and I'm like, the hell is that? 5 picks. Randy Moss went for like a 4th to New England. And, AJ Brown, he's on the market. There's picks, stuff going on. Part of me's just, Mike thinks, okay, I like my receivers, but God, you got to win the line of scrimmage. Did you look at this offseason a little bit, all these moves at wide receiver, and think we've kind of lost our way on the value of it? Or do you think the world's changing in this league?
No, I don't know. I know that every situation is different, and I know that everybody gets the same amount to spend, and you have to make decisions. You have to make tough decisions, and so I don't know. I don't know where the receiver market's going to end up. I know the good players deserve to be compensated, and that's the nature of professional sports. But you also have to work within a salary cap, and you have to try to find a way to continue to do what's best for the entire team. And so I don't know. I don't know where the market's going. I know that the salary cap's going to continue to go up. Specifically about AJ. I think everybody knows my relationship with AJ and, how much that meant to me. And I hope him, and we've had conversations, since he's been traded.
It just, it makes you sick, right? Like
yeah, you have a personal side to this thing. When you try to do it like we try to do it and make a connection and, care about these guys off the field and making sure that they're healthy, mentally and physically, yeah, there's a business side to it too. And that's what everybody, you have to understand that. And if you put a lot into something and, guys move on, you have to make cuts, you release guys. And so that's the hard part of it. But I'm not going to change the way that we coach. I don't want our coaches or myself or anybody here to change the connections that we try to make to teach them.
A lot of young coaches, Mike, struggle to relinquish during a game their side of the ball. I've seen a lot of coaches that's like, okay, this is my job, this is my last chance. I feel like when I watch you, you're kind of holistically teaching the whole unit. You bounce around. You're like, I would call it, this is a compliment, a bounce around coach. You're always kind of, was that an easy thing, or your first year, were you like manic about, well, time out, I want to control my space?
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt like that was how I wanted to do it. You get, I figure once you get hired as a head coach, you've got one chance to do it. And then so you better do it the way that you think is best. And, you try to hire good people, let them do their job, and you try to manage the game and give suggestions. And again, I want to be good enough to say, hey, what do you think about this on special teams? And then everybody made a big deal, or it was joked about when I said, are you going to, call the defense or the offense? At any point in time, you get to call whatever play you want. You're the head coach, right? And it was a joke, but it was like, seriously, if I want to run a fake punt, if it doesn't work, it's on, everything that doesn't work is on me. That's how it goes. I'm okay with that. So I try to give input. I try to help and, respect the play caller and try to make those suggestions in enough time that they can make a call and so that it doesn't affect the team.
Finally, Tom's last game in New England, you coached against him and beat him with this pick six. All the years you practice against him, was there, obviously the answer is yes. There are things that you just instinctively know about Tom because you practiced against him every damn day. There is no secret sauce, but are there little things you felt like, okay, I saw this 1,000 times at practice. This makes Tom uncomfortable. Anything?
Well, it was more or less just and I told this analogy when we went up there in the playoffs. It was the line from the movie Catch Me If You Can, when the dad says to the son, you know why the Yankees always win? And the kid goes, because they have Mickey Mantle. And the dad says, no, because everybody's always staring at the pinstripes. And the point was, don't look over there and see it as Tom Brady and be like, oh my gosh, how many banners? Like, it was like, just go play our game. Here's what we know about him. They're going to mix tempo, or he's going to go, So that was the biggest point that I could probably take about playing against, Tom and the Patriots at that point in time.
I think his arm strength, I honestly feel his release is faster. That's the weirdest thing. Like, it's weird.
Wasn't there a movie where the kid had a tendon surgery or something, like the Rookie of the Year, and he was like a little kid and he was like throwing 95? I think Tom had that surgery, apparently.